Okay, we're working on page 19 of the booklet, simplifying fractions. We begin by looking for the highest common factor of 10 and 15. That means the biggest number that will divide evenly into both. I think it's fairly obvious it's going to be 5. 5's into 10 go 2. 5's into 15 go 3, and we're left with 2/3. Now the second one you can do two ways. You can read this as 18 divided by 6, which of course has an answer of 3. Or if you use the highest common factor of both, which is clearly 6, we say 6's into 6 go once, 6's into 18 go 3 times. 3 divided by 1 is 3. Now this one you might need to break it down into some extra steps. I'm fairly confident 4 goes into both, so I'm going to start with 4. 4's into 80 go 20, and with some long division, 4's into 6 go once, remainder 2, 4's into 22 go 5, remainder 2, and 4's into 24 go 6. We can see that you can break both down again. You could halve them both because they're even numbers, but I'm fairly confident that 4 will go into both as well again. So 4's into 20 go 5, 4's into that number, bit of long division, 4's into 15 go 3 times, 3 4's are 12 with remainder 3, and 4's into 36 go 9. And that looks like it's in its lowest form. So similarly with this one, looking for the highest common factor, or you can take it slowly, break it down. It looks like 9 I think would go into both. 9's into that go 12, and with some long division, 9's into 14 go once, remainder 5, 9's into 54 goes 6 times, and I can break that one down into 3/4 because the highest common factor of 12 and 16 would be 4. Adding fractions, we look at the denominators and note that the denominators are different. Adding 2/3 to 3/4 is hard. What we'll need to do is find equivalent fractions for both that share a common denominator. So we might try heading for 12ths. 2/3, changing that into 12ths, we'll need to times by 4, top and bottom of the fraction, so that will give me 4 times 2 is 8. 2/3 is equivalent to 8/12ths. And writing 3/4 in 12ths, we'd have to times by 3. 4 times 3 is 12 for the denominator, and the numerator 3 times 3 is 9. Now that we're dealing with 12ths, we've got 8/12ths plus 9/12ths equals 17/12ths. We'll leave it like that. It's a top heavy fraction, we call that improper. You can break it down and write it as 1 whole and 5/12ths if you like. There's nothing wrong with 17 over 12. Right, we're adding fifths and thirds, which is very hard to do. So we might have to find some equivalent fractions to fifths and thirds that share a common denominator. So we'll try 15ths, since 5 and 3 both go into 15. And of course 15 is the least common multiple of 5 and 3. 5 times 3 is 15. So if we times the denominator by 3, we have to times the numerator by 3. 2 times 3 is 6, so we don't change the fraction. 3 times 5 gives me 15. Multiplying the denominator by 5, we need to do the same to the numerator so that we have an equivalent fraction and we haven't changed it. Now clearly 6/15ths plus 5/15ths will give me 11/15ths. This one we could do a number of ways. We might try changing the mixed number into an improper fraction first, although there are other ways to do this question that are possibly quicker. We could do 3 plus 1 is 4 wholes, and half a pizza plus 3/4. 3/4 is the same as a half and another quarter. Half and a half would be a whole, plus another quarter would make it 5 1/4. So you can use your brain and do some thinking as well if the fractions are straightforward. Similarly with this one, 6 plus 5, 11 whole pizzas and 2/3 of a pizza. I'm going to need to change to a common denominator. If we're looking for the least common multiple of 4 and 8, it would be easy to just change the quarters into eighths. To do that, I would have to times the denominator by 2. So we do the same to the numerator. 3 times 2 is 6, minus 6/8 minus 5/8 is going to equal 1/8. This one here, I'm going to change these into improper fractions. 9 1/4, we ask ourselves how many quarters is that altogether? Each one of those whole pizzas there will have 4 quarters in it. 4 times 9 is 36, plus an extra quarter will make 37 quarters. I'm changing this one into thirds. If we have 3 pizzas, 3 whole pizzas plus another third, we ask ourselves how many thirds are in 3 whole? 3 times 3, there will be 9 thirds, plus another one is 10 thirds altogether. Now we need to convert these two fractions to have a common denominator. The least common multiple of 4 and 3 is 12, so we'll choose 12. There's a bit of harder maths involved in this one. That would have some of us reaching for our calculators. Changing from quarters, fourths into twelfths, we have to times by 3, numerator and denominator. 3 7s are 21, 3 3s are 9, 2 is 11. Multiplying by 4, numerator and denominator, 10 times 4 is 40. So how many twelfths will that be? 111 minus 40 looks like 71, and we'll leave it that way. This one is straightforward. 7 whole pizzas and 5/6 of a pizza minus 4 will leave me with 3 pizzas and 5/6. And this one might be just as easy to change that into sixths. We're timesing by 2. 2 2s are 4. 2/3 and 4/6 are equivalent. So I'll be left with 1 3/6, which is the same as 1 1/2.